Om Namah Pranavartaya Shuddha Jnanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prasantaya Dakshina Amurtaye Namaha Arunagiri Mupetam Sachidananda Murtim Ramana Yati Prithivyam Vishrutam Jnana Suryam Gahana Hridaya Vidyam Leelaya Bodhayantam Satatam Ahamameyam Sadgurum Samsmara. My pranams. We have crossed 50 verses and we'll be in the 51st verse today. So Ishvara's instruction to Parvati Devi. Ashariram yadatmanam pashyati jnana chakshusha tada bhavati shantatma sarvato vigataspriha. Bhagavan's translation. என்று ஒருவன் தேகம் இலனாகவே தன்னை தன் ஞானக் கண்ணினால்தான் காண்பன் அன்றே அனைத்தினும் ஆசை அறவிட்டு சாந்திதனை துன்னியோன் ஆவந்தான். Ashariram, the day one is able to see himself through his eye of wisdom, that he is without body, that moment, tada bhavati shantatma, he attains the great peace, sarvato vigataspriha, and he has no attachment to anything at all. This actually is the crux of jnana sadhana, to see oneself as without body, ashariram. Bhagavan says, in Sushupti, one is without body or mind. But in the other two states, one has body and mind. In dream as well as in the waking state, one has body and the mind. If you exist without the body in Sushupti, and this body does not exist for you, abhavam, he says, it does not exist for you in Sushupti, how can you be one with it? You can detach yourself from something that is external to you, but not something that is with you. It is not possible to disengage from something that is external to you. It is possible to disengage only when there is something external to you, not when it is one with you. This is a very important point. How is it that we are not able to feel the body in deep sleep, but we are able to see something in the other two states? So the body is not one with you because of this reason, says Bhagavan. There is this crude example of, somebody having dentures. They remove the dentures before going to sleep, and they put it on when they wake up again. Dentures are external. In a similar manner, the body is external to us. That is the reason why we are able to disengage from the body during deep sleep. Such a beautiful logic he gives. And a similar thing is mentioned in Ashtavakra Gita. Yedi deham pritakritya. Yedi deham pritakritya. Chiti vishramya tishtasi. Chiti in chit. Vishramya. If you are able to take rest in this consciousness, vishramya tishtasi. Adhunaiva. The same moment. Immediately. Adhunaiva. Sukhi shanto bandhamukto bhavishyasi, says Ashtavakra. It occurs in the very beginning of Ashtavakra Gita. If you are able to separate yourself from the deham, which is your actual natural state, and take rest in consciousness, that very moment you reach that supreme state. That very moment you become very peaceful. Bandhamukto bhavishyasi. All the bondages, the attachment to the body, the identity with the body. This is what Ashtavakra says, and the same thing Bhagavan also says here. Andre, At that very moment, Andre Anaithinum Asai Aravittu Santhidanai Tunniyo Navandan, he says in his translation of this verse. Yes. In some other place, Bhagavan says that there is only consciousness, nothing else. In deep sleep, what prevails is that consciousness. You are not aware of the body at that time, but consciousness prevails there. And when we wake up, then we see the body. So there is emergence of body consciousness. There's something emerging out of this total consciousness, something emerges out of that. And then simultaneously we see the body consciousness along with the body. Together they come up. And then during the deep sleep state, once again they disappear into the deep sleep state. So he says, there is an emergence, something that has been put on, but the consciousness prevails all through. Otherwise, you will not be able to say that I slept well. If there was no existence during deep sleep, you will not be able to say that I slept well. There was awareness of your existence. So in the verse, I think it is verse number 21 in Upadeshasaram, Bhagavan says that look at the meaning of this word, aham padam, idam aham pada abhikyam anvaham, ahamilina kepi alaya sattaya, he says. In deep sleep, what prevails is the real I, he says. The real meaning of I, aham pada abhikyam. Abhikyam is that which indicates. That is the true meaning of aham is only what prevails during the deep sleep state. Ahamilina kepi. Why? Because even when this I is not there, he says, this I that we have, this body and other thing, even when this is not experienced, existence continues. That being consciousness is the real meaning of I, not having a body. Body is an addition to you that you put on unconsciously every time, and we get merged in it. We are not able to extricate ourselves from it. But a jnani would see himself as ashariri, without any body. That's how his experience is without any body. There cannot be any body consciousness for a Jivan Mukta. In Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara says a Jivan Mukta's attachment to the body, or the way in which his outlook of the body, his body, and Jivan Mukta's outlook is like a shadow. Chaya Sharire Pratibimba Gatre, he says. How will you treat your shadow? It follows you wherever you go, the shadow follows you. Similarly, the body follows a jnani wherever he goes. But when somebody stamps on the shadow, do you feel pain? Somebody may be digging the place where your shadow is falling, but you don't feel any pain there. In that manner, a Jivan Mukta treats his body. Chaya, Sharire, same thing. Pratibimba Gatre, the body that you see in a reflection in a mirror, whatever happens there, it does not affect you. Look at the photo. Yes, you say that this is me. But then if somebody tears the photo, nothing happens to you. A jnani's outlook towards the body is like that. Pratibimba Gatre. And then he goes on to say that Swapna Dehe. That is the Deham that you have in the dream. That also, whatever happens to that, you may be tortured in the dream, but when you wake up, you say that it's all unreal. In the same way, a jnani treats his body, he says. And that is the way one should actually detach oneself from the body, because all of us are the same. For all of us, it is the same thing. Our real state is only this and nothing else. Pure consciousness is alone, our real state. But we really add something to us. It is the vesham, the camouflage that you add, that should be given up. If this is given up, then that state can be reached. And here he says, Ashariram yada atmanam pashyati jnana chatusha. Intellectually, it is possible to work out all these things, but one should experience it. Intellectual reasoning is not enough. It has to be your experience. That is why he says jnana chatusha. The jnanam here is awareness. Through awareness, you should be aware of the fact that you don't have any body at all. And that is the final stage. And adhunaiva, the moment you have this, like what happened to Bhagavan, he just rose up from that experience, and from that time onwards, he never had any feeling of the body. For, vyavaharik purpose, for transaction in this world, he assumed a body for our sake, but he never had any kind of a thing. Otherwise, he would not be writing this. He says, he writes a poem at the end, very end of his lifetime, where he says, a jnani would feel his body just as a drunken person intoxicated with alcohol. He does not know, he is not aware of the fact whether he has got dress over him or not. Even when he is not having any dress, he will not feel that. In a similar way, a jnani who is intoxicated with this jnana, he will not feel. All these things are not possible unless one had that awareness all the time. So he used to say that all of you think that I am having the body. I am keeping on telling you all through my life, you don't have a body, but you are coming and telling me, Bhagavan, you have a body, you should cure your body. That's what he used to say. So, jnana chakshusha. Muruganar, woon udalai nin uruva unni. Fleshy body. Woon udal is the fleshy body. Nin uruva unni. You take this to be your rupam, that your form. Unarvu uruni. Actually, you are only awareness. Unarvu uru. Your rupam is only this awareness. Unarvu uruni. Yen nadalai serda enaketkum padam. Why are you falling into this trap of this suffering? When your actual state, your actual form is only awareness, why are you attaching yourself to this fleshy body? That is the Ramana Padamalai, one of the things. Professor G.V. Subramaya, a great devotee from Andhra Pradesh, he used to come with his family to the ashram very often. His wife passed away, so he used to bring his 2 young daughters to the ashram. The younger one was known as Indira. She was about 6 years or so. She was sitting in the meditation hall one day, and she was going through a Telugu book, Upadeshasaram. There was one shloka. She was reading that. She was attracted to the first word of this verse in each sentence. Deham mrinmayavat. Like that, the slokam goes. This body is just a shell. Mrinmayavat. Aham buddhirna tasyastyato. So the first words in this sloka, all the 4 sentences, Deham, Naham, Koham, Soham. Soham spurtitaya, Arunachala, Shiva, Purno Vibhati Swayam. Like that it ends. Deham, Naham, Koham, So. Young girl, she was reading it in Telugu. So she said that. So Bhagavan, who was reclining, I believe, sat up on that. Sir. Very good. That's very good. That's it. That's everything. That itself is a mantram, he told her. So it seems the girl asked Bhagavan, Tataya, because the way in which Telugu people address grandfather, Tataya, what is the meaning of this? Then it seems Bhagavan asked her to come near him. And when she went near him, he said, this bangle that you are wearing, is it you? Then the girl said, no, it is not me. It is my bangle. Then he asked her, is this the skirt that you are wearing? Is it you? Then she said, no, it is not me, but it is mine. In a similar way, this body is not you. This is a mantra, you repeat it. Seems Bhagavan told her. Vishwanatha Swami was sitting there. It seems he asked Bhagavan, Bhagavan, how can this young girl understand this? It seems Bhagavan told him, oh, புத்தினால புரிஞ்சுக்கிறது தான் புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதோ. Understanding through the brain alone, is it understanding? Seems he told Vishwanatha Swami. He kept quiet immediately. We all assume that we understand through our brain and that is the only way of gathering knowledge or understanding something. Bhagavan is correcting him. How will intuition happen? It is not through brain. When we say intuitive flashes, insightful understanding of something, it is not through the brain. All of us make the mistake of thinking that one has to use the mind, one has to use the intelligence to understand something, but it can happen beyond. In fact, the spiritual communication, the spiritual transfer of knowledge is in that insightful mode. Buddhi is not really required there. We give too much of importance to buddhi. In fact, it comes in the way of total understanding. Buddhi comes in the way because it starts analyzing, oh, how can it be? He said that, this Swami said this, and all the thing. Whole thing is lost. That is the way we lose our way. So Bhagavan told Vishwanath Swami, oh, understanding through the brain alone is understanding as per your knowledge. Vishwanath Swami was stunned by that. He kept quiet. Anyway, Bhagavan, whenever he saw this girl, he would ask her to repeat that mantra. It is a mantra. And he asked her to repeat it constantly. Deham, naham, koham, soham. She would say that. And their stay was getting over. And the last day, that girl came to take leave of Bhagavan along with her father. He was going for a walk that time, Bhagavan. It seems he playfully tapped her head with his walking stick and asked her to repeat that mantra. She said, Deham, naham, koham, soham. Go now, he said. Within about 2 months, because of a brief illness, that girl passed away. And her father told Bhagavan later, that till the last moment that mantra was on her lips. She left the body with this mantra. He did not give this advice to anybody else. Bhagavan will not find Bhagavan giving this kind of a method to anyone else. To that girl alone, he gave that. Because uncluttered mind, an innocent mind, which is not crowded with all kinds of siddhantam, jargon, that innocent mind was able to pick it up. And also for small children, young children, personality would not have developed. These were the qualifications that that girl had. It seems when Subramaya came to the ashram afterwards and then was talking about this, seems he said, to me at that moment it looked as though that I felt that she was not an ordinary girl. I decided to bury her and then put a samadhi over her. And it seems Bhagavan nodded with approval. So what did that girl do? She was doing mananam of this mantra. Nothing else mattered to her. Tataya told her this and she had to do that. That mananam, constant mananam of this mantra was able to take her to the proximity of the Guru, the powerful words of the Guru, the power behind those words. When Bhagavan taught her directly, he knew, must have known, that this is the last Janma Pada. So he taught her, and then she kept on. This is what is manana. In fact, in some other place, with respect to something else, Bhagavan says, you are the self, so be the self. Why do you want to be this individual? Be the self. But if it is not possible, ascertain in your mind what is the real meaning of I. When I say I, what is the real meaning? And revert back to that state of beingness. When you assess the real meaning of I, and then you conclude, yes, this is the being consciousness that I felt without any body, without any mind, without any personality in my deep sleep. That is my real I. You come back to that. When you are not able to be the self, the real Atman, work out in your mind, come back to that. Work out in your mind, come back to that. That is the sadhana, and that is mananam, he said. The mananam is to constantly remember these truths and be with this truth. We may be engaged in other activities also, but if our mind, the fundamental activity of the mind is always on truths of this nature, that itself will settle the mind. All of us feel that we are not making any progress, but the way to do that is to constantly revert back, do these truths and work them out in our mind, so that it becomes an experience. And it would happen, says Bhagavan. Don't have to have any doubt about that. It will happen. So that is the thing, that when he told Vishwanatha Swami, it is not necessary for your brain or your intellect to understand these things. There is something even transcending the buddhi that will absorb this truth, and then you will be able to do that. But in order to become eligible for that, do this mananam constantly. So that's the meaning. Tada bhavati shantatma. Moment you are able to see through jnana chakshu, through your eye of wisdom, that you are not this body, you are that being consciousness which endures all the time, which never leaves. This constant background of consciousness is what I am. Other things I have put on myself, these are all vesham, camouflage. I put on all these things. When you keep on thinking about it, good results will follow, he says, Bhagavan. Good results will follow. These are the words of Bhagavan. When you are able to do this constantly, repeatedly, come back to that. Stay with the truth in your mind. It will happen. And we should have the faith. All of us feel that it's not a very easy thing, because so many lifetime of, ajnanam we have gathered, attachments we have gathered. Not very easy, but have faith in him, because in one place, Adi Shankara says, I heard it from Chur Swami's one of the satsangs. We all go to astrologers, and the astrologer will tell you, Jyotishka, he will tell you, today is Ashtami, so do this. Today is Navami, so do this. Adhyashtami, Navami iti, Chaturdashi iti. He will keep on. Jyotishka vache Vishwasaha. We have a lot of Vishwasam in Jyotishka Vakyam. But the Shrutis, at the top of their voice, all the Shastras are proclaiming, you are that, you are that, you are that. We don't want to believe in that. So what is important is this faith in Bhagavan's words, and do these simple things again and again. It's a one single step process. For that we have to develop the faith and the mental strength to do that. So here he says, Tada bhavati shantatma sarvato vigata. You will not have any attachments from that time onwards. All your bondages, you will be able to transcend. Go to the next verse. Yosau sarveshu shastreshu pathyate hyaja ishvaraha. Akayo nirguno hyatma sohamasmi na samshayaha. There's no doubt in this. What is that? Yosau sarveshu shastreshu patyate hyaja ishvaraha. Acha. The unborn, that consciousness pre-exists. Pre-exists everything. Whatever we can think of, this body, mind, everything, this world, All these things have come after consciousness. Consciousness pre-existed everything. That's why he is unborn. Vedanta Shastram, they say that Maya and Brahman, both of them are anadi. They are unborn. This Maya is unborn. It is there from time immemorial. But only difference is Maya can come to an end, whereas there is no end for Brahman. It will continue. There is nothing. But Maya comes to an end. Otherwise, there's no question of any jnani or any such thing. Maya will come to an end. Though it starts as an anadi, it has an end to it. Whereas Brahman is anadi and anantam. Aja Ishvaraha. He, Aja Ishvaraha. Aja is unborn. He is the Ishvara of this entire thing. Sarveshu Shastreshu, all the Shastras talk about him as unborn. His consciousness, pure consciousness, he is Ishvara. Akayo, he does not have any body at all. The Sharira Dharmam does not apply to him at all. All of us are in Sharira Dharmam. We nurse our body, we nourish our body, and then we think that we are the body all the time, whereas this Sharira Dharmam does not apply to Ishvara. Akayo, Nirgunaha, there is no quality, there is no aspect connected with him. He is beyond all qualities, beyond all aspects of description. Nirgunohi Atma, that is me. Soham asmi, na samshayaha. There cannot be any doubt in this, says Ishvara to Parvati. Ajan, Ishan என்று எல்லா நூல்களிலும் ஆர்தான் இசைக்கப்படுவானோ. Whoever is described, whoever is praised as an Aja in all the Shastras, இசைக்கப்படுவானோ என்றும் அசரீரன். He is formless. He does not have any form. Gunamillanam. He does not have any qualities to describe. Avane yan siridum ingu idanil ayyam illai. There cannot be any doubt in this. There are three major pillars for Vedanta Shastram. These pillars are Shruti, Yukti, and Swanubhuti. This is a progress. You listen to great truths from the Shruti, from the Vedas. That is Shruti. That is known as Shruti Pramanam. Experiences of all the sages and saints have been recorded and they are available to you. You listen to that. You don't have to really take their word. You have to work it out, reason it out in your mind. Our religion has the boldness to say, you don't have to really believe all these things, but you can work it out in your mind. This is it. Follow, nothing else. No questions. That never is our religion, Sanatana Dharma. Yukti is that where you apply all the reason and then you see, can it be true? And then intellectually you confirm and then you pick up the faith. Yes, it must be true because of these reasons and so on. These two stages are important. But don't stop with this. The third stage is Swanubhuti. You have to experience it. Without Swanubhuti, it will be only Vidvat that you develop, scholarship. One can use this Vidvat for giving lectures, nothing more. Vaidushyam Vidusham Tadvat Bhuktaye Natu Muktaye, says Viveka Chudamani. All this gathering of knowledge, I don't remember the first sentence. The second sentence is Vaidushyam. This Vidvat will develop, all this scholarship will develop. Bhuktaye, it is for earning money. You can use it for earning money and that's about it. Natu Muktaye. So don't stop with the second stage. You have to apply all this and experience it because it is experienceable. Otherwise, there's no value for all this. You can experience and In order to teach that only, sages like Bhagavan come every now and then they tell you, this is the way to do that. So once you experience it, that is the time when there will be absolutely no doubts in na samshayaha. There cannot be any doubt in this. There will be no doubts only when you experience. Till that time, it can be, may not be that kind of a state. We will be in. It seems Shuka Brahma Rishi, he had a doubt. So he went to his father, Vyasa, and asked him, I have this doubt about my state. The state that I'm in, is it the ultimate, or is there anything more than this? That was the doubt that he had. It seems Vyasa said, the best person to instruct you would be Janaka Maharishi, Janaka Maharaja. So go to him. So it seems Shuka went, this is what is recorded. Shuka went to Janaka to clear that doubt. Why I'm saying this is, the samshaya, the samshayam is not easy to really get rid of. Bhidyate hridaya grantihi chidyante sarva samshayaha, says the Shruti Upanishad. Bhidyate hridaya granti, when the hridaya granti, the knot in the heart, is cut asunder, that is the time when all the doubts will go. Till that time, doubts will continue. Chiyante chasya karmani, all his karmas also will completely be eliminated. Tasmin drishte paravare. So Upanishad Vakyam. Tasmin drishte paravare, when you are able to sight the Brahman, that is the time when all the samshayas will go. So there was a little bit lingering in the mind of Shuka Brahma Rishi. He went to Vyasa. Vyasa asked him to go to Janaka to clear his doubts. And I believe he went in and he got his doubt cleared. Why I'm saying this is, Bhagavan never had any doubt. He did not go to anybody. Only when you are able to place Bhagavan with respect to all these great monumental rishis, we can understand the stature of Bhagavan. Bhagavan never had any doubt. Of course, he picked up the words so that he can later on make use of them while explaining to somebody. But so he really reversed the process. He started with Swanubhuti, then how to really explain to others the yukti. And of course, he knew, all this numbers, samacharam. In my story, they are all talking about. The other day, he mentioned this. It's my story that they're all talking about. So it is a reverse process. So when we really see all these things, then we know the real stature of Bhagavan, the place that he occupies in the spiritual, world. So, na samshayaha is what he says. Akayo, he is without any sharira dharmam. There is no sharira dharmam for him. Nirguno hi atma sohamasmi na samshayaha. This particular shloka is known as Vastu Nirnayam, ascertainment of the Purna Vastu. We talked about Vastu Lakshanam in the previous two verses. This is Vastu Nirnayam. That is, the Lakshanam is given. Here, you are going to ascertain, yes, this is the way it is. You are rid of all the samshayas. You don't have to go to anybody. Everything is very clear to you. And you live your life without any of the doubts. Akayo nirguno hyatma sohamasmi na samshayaha. The next verse, Vijñapti matrohi sada vishuddha sarvatra yasmat satatam vimuktaha nadeya heyohi aham apratarkyaha tasmat sada brahmamayo vishokaha. Is a longer meter. Vijnana matran vishuddhan vimuktan nan எஞ்ஞான்றும் எங்கும் இருப்பவன் நான் அந்நியாயத்து ஒன்று அவன் நான் பற்றவிட ஒன்னான் நான் துக்கமிலான் என்றும் பிரம்ம மயன் யான் ஒன்று அவன் நான் அந்நியாயத்து ஒன்று அவன் நான் பற்றவிட ஒன்னான் நான் துக்கமிலான் என்றும் பிரம்மமயன் யான் is the translation. It explains that there are some interesting words that are being nadeyam aheyam. Heyam is something that you reject. Heyam is rejectable. Adeyam is that which you can accept and hold on to. So here he says Atma cannot be rejected, cannot be given up, nor can you grasp it. You cannot grasp it, nor can you leave it. You cannot grasp it and you cannot leave it. That is the nature of Brahman. You cannot grasp it because what we do, we'll use our mind, our buddhi, and all these instruments available with us in order to grasp him. He's not graspable that way. You cannot objectify him. He is not an object, he is a subject. And you cannot hold him. And you cannot reject him. How can you reject and then survive? So, nadeyam, naheyam, aheyam, adeyam. Vijñapti matrohi. He is pure awareness. Suddha arivu. Ariyadi idarajivara dahavari jagohel. Arivairami paramattuman arunachala ramanan. That arivu, that awareness, that intelligence, pure intelligence. Vijñapti matrohi. He is that. The nature of Brahman is to be this pure awareness. Vijñapti matrohi sada vishuddhaha. He is pure. Sarvatrayasmat satatam vimuktaha. Because he is there everywhere, he is not bound to any space. He is beyond space. Satatam vimuktaha. Because of this reason, he is all the time free. We lose our freedom when we limit ourselves. In deep sleep, there is absolutely no limitation at all. There is no space, there is no time, there is no limitations, and we put on these limitations after waking up. So when you are free from all these limitations, that is real freedom, that is mukti. When we talk about mukti, mukti is freedom from all limitations. Sarvatrayasmat satatam vimuktaha nadeya heyo apratarkyaha. Apratarkyaha means you cannot argue against him. You cannot say he is not. You may say God is not. Bhagavan used to say this. Leave God alone. When somebody says, leave God alone. Are you there? Do you exist? Does God exist is not the question. Do you exist? Can you say that you do not exist at any time? So catch hold of yourself. Forget about God for the moment. We come to God later. Are you there or not? And it's not possible for you to say that I don't exist. Apratarkyaha. There cannot be any arguments. It would be like saying, I don't have any tongue. What says this? With what are you able to say? I believe in Odivil Odukam, in some place, such a sentence comes. I don't have any tongue. It is like that. Apratarkyaha. It is not possible for you to argue against him. The only thing that we can say about him is, it is certain. He is certain. He does not escape certainty. He may escape all objectification, but he will not escape certainty. It is there all the time. We are not able to catch hold of it because we are doing the mistake of treating him as an object like we do. We gather information by making anything into an object. Mind is very good at that. Categorize what it is. It is similar to this, not similar to this. All these things, and very quickly you will be able to understand. But Brahman cannot be that. The very life, the illumination to the mind comes from him. When that is the case, can you really make him? Muruganar calls this as Suttarivu. Suttarivu is that knowledge of somebody who is standing before you. You are objectifying somebody. By making it into an object, you will lose the way completely. You will not be able to get there at all. So he says, Apratarkyaha tasmat sada brahmamayo vishokaha. Vishokam, vishuddham, dahram vipapam parameshvabhutam yat pundarikam puramadhyasagastam tatrapi dahram gaganam vishokas tasmini yadantas tadupasitavyam. The Nakarmana mantram, which is recited at the end, the Karmana, that mantram has both these words. Vishuddham, vipapam, without any sin. It is sinless. Dahram vipapam parameshvabhutam. Yat pundarikam. Pundarikam is that heart lotus. Puramadhyasagastam tatrapi dahram gaganam. Daharakasham is that hridayakasham. Tasmin yadantas tadupasitavyam. That's how it means. Vishokaha. It is without any shokam. You cannot take even a bit of suffering or shokam into that zone. It is a zone free from all suffering, zone free from all shokam. That's why we want that deep sleep state. We carefully, very, very diligently, we prepare for a good sleep, because that is the time when you can be rid of all the shokam. And how does it happen? Because there is no objectifying mind in that thing. The mind ceases to operate, and in that process, your objectification stops. And this is the secret to that Vishokam. Moment you start thinking about something that is there, an object, something other than you, then the suffering begins. Both the subject and the object subside in that state of samadhi. There it is, the true subject and not this relative subject. The aham that we feel now looks to be, it is a subject, but it's a relative subject, because behind this subject, the true subject is there all the time. That enduring, permanent consciousness is the true subject. We do not look at it, and then we think that I am the subject and this is the object, and with this moments, we continue with our life. So the real subject, that is Vishokaha, because there is no object for it. Only I am, and nothing, there is nothing else. Ahameko name kaschit. We saw that in Devi Kalottaram 2 verses earlier. Ahamekaha. That state, you are not aware of it directly in deep sleep, but that's what prevails there. There is only the subjective consciousness, nothing else. The mind that always says something about existence and non-existence is absent, so you are not able to say what happened to you there. But in the state of samadhi, even that is not there, because awareness continues in samadhi. In the state of samadhi, and samadhi is the true subject. So, adeya heyo hyaham apratarkyaha tasmat sada brahmamayo vishokaha. There is no giving up, there is no holding on to him, there is no giving him up. You cannot hold on to him as an object, because you are held by him. You cannot hold on to him because you are being held by him. You cannot hold him who holds you all the time. And it's not possible to, give him up. Adeyam, aheyam. Actually, in Viveka Chudamani, there is a very similar verse. Aheyam, anupadeyam, anadeyam, anashritam, ekameva dvayam brahma, neha nanasti kinchana. There is a series of verses in Viveka Chudamani which ends with neha nanasti kinchana. There is no multiplicity and no plurality here. Ahamekaha. So, Ekameva Advayam Brahma Neha Nanasti Kinchana. There he says, Aheyam. You cannot give him up. Anupadeyam, it is not possible to take him on as an object. Anadeyam, it's not possible to say, I accept you. You are nobody to say, I am accepting you. Anashritam, it does not have any ashrayam. It is the ashrayam of everything. It is anashritam. And in Bhagavad Gita, there are similar shlokas. In fact, the Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yogam, the chapter 9 Bhagavad Gita, it talks about Maya Tatamidam Sarvam Jagat Avyayamurtina Matstani Sarvabhutani Nachaham Teshu Avastitaha. All the bhutas, all the creatures are in me, but I am not in them, says Lord Krishna. All the creatures are in me, but I am not in them. Like a post, and you see a ghost on a post. The post has no awareness of any ghost being there. But it is the support of the ghost. Without the post, there cannot be any ghost. But the post does not know about the existence of a ghost. Similar, that rope and the snake, so many, the ocean and the waves. All these examples are given to tell you what Bhagavan, Lord Krishna is saying here. Matstani Sarva Bhutani, they are all based in me. Matstani, they're all based on me. Because they have no existence apart from me. But I am not existing in them. Without them also I can exist. The ocean can exist without the waves. But the waves are nothing but the ocean. Similarly, he goes on to say, Matstani Sarva Bhutani Nachaham Teshu Avastitaha. Maya Tatamidam, I pervade all this world, all this universe. Sarvam Jagat Avyayamurtina. It's the important thing. Avyayamurtina. In my unmanifest form, says Krishna, because Krishna is a manifestation. In my unmanifest form, that is the universal me, I permeate everything as a universal Purusha. And he goes on to say, Nacha Matstani Bhutani. The next verse, it looks as though he is contradicting himself. All these things are also not in me. After having said Matstani Sarva Bhutani in the previous verse, in the next verse he says, even to say that they're all based on me is also not correct. Why? They don't have any existence at all. How can you talk about an unreal thing to have an existence in me? So even that is also not strictly true, he says. Nacha Matstani Bhutani Pashyame Yogam Aishwaram. Look at my Maya. He is telling Arjuna, look at my Maya. I am in them, they are not in me. And so on. He keeps on saying this. And then he says, even that is not correct. That is my Maya. Because of my Maya, all these things appear to exist. They don't have any reality in truth. Bhutabrin nacha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. So these are two beautiful verses in Bhagavad Gita which say the same thing. So, Nadeya heyo hi aham apratatyaha tasmat sada brahmamayo vishokaha. I am without any shokam. There is no possibility of any suffering in that state, says. So with this I will conclude today.